Heartwarming discovery. Millionaire exposed to incredible truth of his hidden son at wife's grave. Jack Thompson stood at the edge of the freshly turned earth, the cold autumn wind whispering through the trees like mournful spirits. His heart felt as if it had been hollowed out, each breath a painful reminder of the love he had lost. Mary had been everything to him, a partner, a friend, a light in his life. Now the silence left in her absence was deafening. He clutched a wilting bouquet, regret churning in his gut. How could he have missed the signs, the moments to truly show her how much she meant to him? As he stared at the gravestone, the world around him blurred. His gaze snapped to a figure approaching, an elderly woman with thinning gray hair and sadness etched into her features. She wore a frayed cardigan that looked like it had seen better days, but her eyes sparkled with hidden truths. "Mr. Thompson," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. "I need to speak with you." Before he could respond, she continued, "You have a son, Jack. His name is Sam. He is your hidden son from a time before you and Mary were together." The words fell like bombs, puncturing the fog of his grief. Jack swayed backward, disbelief washing over him like ice water. A son? The notion rattled within him, colliding with the guilt of his past. Sam had never known the privilege of Jack's life. A mechanic in town, struggling to make ends meet. He had learned about resilience from the school of hard knocks, facing judgment and disdain from the townsfolk who whispered behind his back. Sam had always felt like an outsider, a misfit in Jack's world of wealth. Jack imagined him hands calloused, clothes worn, pride tinged with bitterness. A connection felt impossible. But the thought of someone out there carrying his blood stirred something deep and unnameable inside him. The annual town barbecue was around the corner. Jack had always viewed it as a celebration, but this year, the atmosphere felt thick with tension. The whispers followed him everywhere he went. The very idea of his hidden son being part of this community turned his stomach. Did they even know the name Sam? The barbecue would be the first moment Jack could truly face this new reality. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. He prepared to reach out to Sam, but anxiety churned within him. Their first meeting felt like stepping into an uncharted abyss. With every second, the weight of past mistakes pressed into Jack's chest like a lead ball. He was desperate to connect, yet terrified to confront the resentment and hurt that may lie between them. Despite his intentions, his position as a wealthy businessman created an invisible divide, amplifying the struggle 1,000-fold. At Mary's grave later that week, tears streamed down Jack's cheeks. In that moment of raw honesty, he understood perhaps family wasn't measured in wealth or status, but in the willingness to embrace those we overlooked. Would he dare to step across the boundary he had built around himself? Would he be able to give Sam the chance for a new beginning? The storm in his heart churned with hope and fear as Jack's thoughts spiraled into uncertainty, leaving him pondering one haunting question. Could he reclaim the love that had been lost, and build a bridge to the son he never knew existed? Jack paced in his living room, the weight of the world resting heavily on his shoulders. He couldn't shake the image of the elderly woman, her words echoing in his mind like a haunting refrain. "You have a son, Jack." The very idea both exhilarated and terrified him. How could he face this unknown chapter in his life? It was just days until the town barbecue, and he felt an urgent need to meet Sam before the event. He picked up his phone, hesitated, and then dropped it back on the table. Calling someone he had never met, a son he hadn't known about, seemed daunting and surreal. What would he say? Where would they even begin? For a man who thrived in the high-paced world of business, this emotional terrain was uncharted and rutted with trepidation. His thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock on the door. Jack opened it to find his neighbor, Janet, standing with a warm casserole in hand. "Thought you might need this. You've been through so much," she said, concern etched in her features. "Thanks, Janet. You're too kind," he replied, forcing a smile. For a moment, he felt a flicker of normalcy amidst his turmoil. But as she spoke, pulling him into conversation, his mind drifted back to Sam. Janet's small talk warred with thoughts of the son, who might be struggling to understand a world Jack had created without him. After a while she left, and Jack was left alone again, surrounded by silence. He glanced at the framed family photos lining his shelves. Mary's smile seemed more vibrant than ever, but the emptiness beside her where he should be caused a pang of guilt. He had failed to protect the love they shared, and now he might have an opportunity to mend that failure with Sam. With determination coursing through him, he sat on the edge of his bed and finally dialed Sam's number. The phone rang endlessly, each beep amplifying the pounding in Jack's heart. Finally, a gruff voice answered. "Hello? Is this Sam?" Jack hardly recognized his voice as he spoke. "Yeah, who's this?" This is Jack Thompson." The title felt foreign and wrong. Silence stretched thick and heavy over the line. Jack swallowed hard. "I just found out I have a son. And it's you." "Okay." Sam's voice was cautious. A wall of protection built over years of independent survival. "I'd like to meet you. I need to understand our story," Jack blurted. His urgency surprised even him. "I don't know if that's a good idea." The coolness of Sam's voice stung. Jack sighed. "I understand. But I don't want to lose this chance. If there's a way to connect, I'm willing to try." A moment of stillness hung in the air like a fragile thread waiting to snap. Finally Sam replied more softly, "I'll think about it." Jack hung up, adrenaline and hope surging through him. A flicker of warmth ignited in his chest. Was that hope? The prospect of reconciliation made his heart race. But as joy bubbled beneath the surface, he couldn't shake the looming fear of rejection. What if Sam wants nothing to do with him? As the barbecue day approached, Jack found himself rehearsing conversation starters in his head, wrestling with hypothetical scenarios filled with tension and potential loss. What if the townsfolk whispered about him and Sam? Each possibility painted a portrait of a father longing for a son one he lost before he ever had the chance to be found. The night before the barbecue, Jack stood at Mary's grave, the moonlight casting shadows around the headstone. "I'm sorry, Mary," he whispered. "I'm trying to do the right thing. Help him see that it's never too late." In the distance, the sounds of laughter echoed from the town square as barbecue preparations began. The weight of Jack's choice loomed heavier than ever. Tomorrow would bring an unexpected confrontation, one that could change everything. Would he find redemption? Or would the truth ultimately drive a deeper wedge between him and Sam? Filled with uncertainty yet desperate for clarity, he took a deep breath. What awaited him on the other side of this journey? The morning of the barbecue dawned bright and clear, the kind of day that beckons smiles and laughter. Yet for Jack, the sunshine felt intrusive, pushing against the shadows of his uncertainty. He had spent the night tossing and turning, visions of Sam dancing in his mind, a face he had yet to see, yet one that felt all too familiar. In the kitchen, Jack poured himself a cup of coffee, the steam curling upward like the wisps of hope he clung to. He gazed out the window towards the town square, where the sounds of festivities mingled with the aroma of sizzling burgers and sweet corn. But beneath it all, his heart raced, battling the fear of embarrassment that might come from being seen with Sam, a young man he hardly knew. What if the crowd judged him? What if Sam turned out to be hostile, distancing himself from the stranger claiming to be his father? These thoughts pushed Jack to pour more coffee than he could handle, the liquid splashing over the edge and onto the counter. He wiped it away with shaking hands, desperate to regain control. As he prepared to leave, he glanced once more at the framed pictures on the wall. They seemed to urge him forward, a promise, an echo of love that still lingered in the air. He whispered to the images, "I'll find him. I will." Arriving at the barbecue felt like stepping into a carnival. Everyone was laughing, children were playing, and friends gathered around for catch-up conversations. Jack felt like an outsider, a ghost hovering at the edge of a vibrant scene. Friends greeted him, but their words blurred into background noise as his gaze searched for Sam. Time crawled as he mingled and made small talk. His heart thumped louder with every passing moment. Would Sam show? He felt the regret rolling in with the heat of the day, wanting to shout out the missed chances of their years apart. And then, just as the grill master flipped burgers, Jack spotted him across the yard. Sam stood a few feet away, his hands dug deep in his pockets, scanning the crowd. A frown etched across his youthful face. Jack felt a sudden rush of courage and apprehension at the sight, the very image of his own youth mixed with the potential of all that lay ahead. Taking a deep breath, he moved towards Sam with measured steps. Each approach felt monumental, as if he were walking through the pages of a story he had barely started. When Sam looked up and their eyes met, Jack's heart skipped. This was the beginning, the chance to create a new chapter. "Sam?" Jack called, forcing a smile despite the tightening in his chest. Sam's expression was unreadable, an intricate mix of wariness and curiosity. "Yeah, that's me." His voice was the same, yet smoother, reflective of the cadence Jack had heard on the phone. "Can we talk?" Jack ventured, his throat dry. "I know this isn't easy. I don't know." Sam's reply was taut, his gaze shifting to the laughter around them, the life he had always known. Jack felt his stomach drop but pressed on. "I want to understand. I want to share who I am, who I could be for you." For a moment, the world faded. People milled about, but they became just a backdrop to Jack's desperate hope. Sam's hesitation was palpable, the air thick with unspoken words. Jack took a step closer, every beat of his heart echoing in his ears. He needed to break these walls. "Just give me a chance," Jack pleaded, sincerity pouring from him. "Please." Sam's expression softened slightly, and uncertainty transformed into something almost vulnerable. As Jack hung in the balance, waiting for Sam's answer, a young child bumped into him, giggling, pulling him momentarily back to reality. But the moment lingered, and the stakes had never felt so high. Would this confrontation lead to a connection, or another closed door? In that charged silence, both father and son stood on the edge of something profound, the possibilities brimming just out of reach. What would be Sam's choice? And would it bring them closer, or create an irreparable rift? As Jack waited, the future of their story hung in the balance. The laughter around them felt distant as Jack's heart raced. He braced himself, every nerve in his body alert, every moment stretching out into an eternity. Sam's eyes flickered away, absorbing the life in the yard, yet tinged with uncertainty. Jack wanted to reach over and pull Sam into that joy, to connect, to bridge the distance that had lingered between them for so long. "Hey, can you give me a minute?" Sam said, his voice low but steady. He moved a step back, creating physical space that reflected the emotional barriers both men faced. Jack felt that step back echo in his chest, a stark reminder of how far they'd drifted apart. "Sure," Jack replied, disappointment creeping into his voice. He felt a lump in his throat but willed himself to hold on. "I'll be right here." Sam's eyes flicked back towards Jack, searching for something. Perhaps a semblance of strength, or a spark of hope. It was at that moment Jack realized that Sam was fighting his own battle. The bravery to take a step toward reconnection was just as frightening for his son as it was for him. Jack thought back to days he wished he could have back. The laughter and warmth that came from family, the little moments he'd lost. "I missed so many chances," he said, breaking the silence between them. "I want to know you, Sam." The young man hesitated again, his expression shifting. "You could have been there for everything. Birthdays, school plays. Just being there." He paused, his voice trembling slightly. "Why now?" Jack sighed, the weight of his past settling heavy on his shoulders. "I know. And I can't change what happened. But I can change what happens next. You deserve better than just being a name in my life. I want to be a father to you if you let me." Sam's brow furrowed deeper, wrestling with emotions Jack could only imagine. The young man turned slightly, looking out at the gathering, at friends enjoying the day with their families. "I don't want pity. Or charity. I'm not some project you can fix." "No," Jack said, stepping in closer, feeling the urgency. "I'm not trying to fix anything. Just trying to connect. We can't erase the past, but we can start anew if that's what you want." A flicker of something, curiosity, hope, fear crossed Sam's face. Jack's heart surged. This might be the moment they began to lay down their old burdens and build something new. Then Sam squared his shoulders, as if bracing for a wave. "And what if I don't want to? What if I just want to forget?" Jack felt a chill run through him. That question hung in the air, heavy and dark. He opened his mouth to respond, feeling the tightness in his chest return, but the words wouldn't come. What if he pushed too hard? What if he got it all wrong and pushed his son away instead of pulling him closer? Just then, laughter erupted nearby, pulling Sam's focus. He glanced back toward the crowd, and in that fleeting moment, Jack felt time slip through his fingers. Sam, he said, voice raw please. I need to know you. Sam turned back, eyes bright but unsure. I don't know if I can trust you. But maybe we can talk? Just not today. The weight of those words hit Jack hard. Relief mingled with fear, the future still uncertain. I'll take what I can get, Jack said, the smile he wore framed with vulnerability. As Sam took a step back, joining the throng of family and friends, Jack watched him go, feeling both hopeful yet trepidatious. Had the connection begun? Or was this just a flicker that would fade away? The day pressed on, filled with laughter and reunions. And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, Jack found himself torn between excitement and fear. He realized he had to keep trying, to push through the fear and reach for his son. But would Sam allow him the opportunity to really connect? In that moment, with the crowd buzzing all around, Jack felt more determined than ever that he wouldn't give up, not now. As he glanced back toward the bustling barbecue, he whispered to himself, this is just the beginning. And as the stars began to twinkle overhead, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that tomorrow would reveal something. Knew something that could change everything. What would it take for Sam to meet him halfway? The night had a cool breeze that whispered through the trees, rustling the leaves like soft applause ringing in Jack's ears. As he stood alone, silhouetted against the fading barbecue glow, hope ebbed and flowed within him like the tide. Each laugh from the crowd felt like a reminder, a push towards the connection he craved. He took a deep breath, letting the scent of grilled meat and fresh grass ground him. His heart was still racing, but now it mingled with a sense of determination. What if tomorrow was indeed the turning point? What if he could bridge the gap that had grown too wide to measure? Jack's eyes roamed the yard, landing on the flickering candlelight spilling from the patio into the darkness. Suddenly he spotted Sam again, laughing with a group of friends, moments of joy igniting memories of his own childhood. It struck Jack just how far Sam had strayed from him. Every smile a reflection of shared moments they never had. Why can't I be part of that? Jack murmured to no one, feeling the profound ache settle back in. Would Sam ever let him in? As Jack contemplated this, he felt a shadow slide over him, breaking him from his thoughts. It was Amy, his ex-wife, her expression unreadable, yet familiar. The years apart hadn't dulled the bond that tied them together, nor did they erase the old wounds. Hey Jack, she said, her voice steady but edged with caution. Hey, he replied, watching Sam again. How are you? I'm good. Enjoying the day. She gestured at the gathering. Her eyes, however, shifted to Sam, a momentary reflection of the past between them. He seems happy. Jack nodded, feeling that weariness again. He is. But I need more than just distant happiness. I want to be part of his life. Amy studied him, as if searching for sincerity beneath the layers of regret. You understand it won't be easy, right? He has been hurt, Jack. We both have. He felt that familiar bitterness rise. I know that. But I want him to know I want to be here now. How do I prove that? Amy sighed heavily, looking away. It's not about proving something to him. It's about showing up every day, being patient. Sometimes, that's just hard. Jack swallowed hard, the truth of her words piercing through him. Patience, he echoed, feeling the weight of the word. I get that, but I'm scared. What if I mess this up? A flicker of compassion crossed her face. You'll make mistakes. We all do. But if you want this, Jack, if you want him, you can't just see him every now and then. You need to be there, day in and day out. He nodded, grounding his feelings. I want to be that kind of father. Then focus on today, Amy suggested softly, her tone shifting as if she were handing him a lifeline. Be real. Speak from your heart. Let him see you. In that moment, Jack turned to face the yard once more, feeling empowered. He had to confront those walls, not just for himself, but for Sam. Amy, he called, as she started to walk away. What if he never really accepts me? She paused, glancing back with a knowing look. Sometimes acceptance is a journey, not a destination. Just don't give up on him. He needs time. As she vanished back into the crowd, Jack felt clarity wash over him. Tomorrow he would take that leap. He would show up in Sam's life, not as a figure from the past but as a man willing to build a future. With stars twinkling above him, Jack smiled against the coolness of the night, resolve settling in his chest. He was ready to fight for their connection not just through words, but through actions. And as he headed back inside, a question lingered in his mind, bubbling with urgency. Would Sam meet him halfway? Or was he about to step into deeper waters, where the unknown awaited? The morning light filtered gently through Jack's bedroom window, casting soft patterns on the wall. Jack lay awake, his heart beating steadily, anticipation mixing with anxiety. Today felt different. Today was a pivotal moment. A chance for him to close the gap that had yawned between him and Sam for far too long. After breakfast, he glanced at the clock. It wasn't time to leave yet, but he needed to prepare himself. He paced around his small apartment, rehearsing the words he would say. Each step resonated with a mix of nervousness and hope. Was there a right way to express everything buried inside him? Would Sam even want to hear it? Determined, he rummaged through his closet, finding an old baseball hat. It was the same one he'd worn to every Little League game he had attended when Sam was growing up. Maybe its presence would ease some tension, a link to simpler times. As Jack drove toward Sam's school, he reminisced about those games. He recalled the smell of fresh-cut grass, the cheering crowd, and Sam, beaming with pride each time he hit the ball. He wondered if Sam would still remember those moments, if nostalgia could bridge the distance between them. Upon arrival, Jack paused outside the school, scanning the playground filled with laughter and careless joy. He caught sight of Sam, standing with his friends, looking more grown-up than ever. Jack's heart ached with a combination of pride and sorrow. He wasn't just a disconnected figure anymore, he was here, existing in the same space. With a deep breath, he stepped out of the car. As he approached, Jack could see Sam's laughter erupt, but the sound felt muffled, overshadowed by the thudding in his chest. He fought the urge to turn back but pushed forward, recalling Amy's words. Be real. Speak from your heart. Sam. He called, his voice a mix of excitement and trepidation. Sam turned, his expression shifting from surprise to confusion. The joy of the moment seemed to flicker, and Jack could see the apprehension in his son's eyes. For a heartbeat, a wall came up. Jack felt it too, that unspoken hurt lingering between them. Hey, Dad, Sam finally replied, his voice cautious. What are you doing here? I wanted to see you. To talk, Jack said, his throat tightening slightly. Is that okay? Yeah, I guess. Sam shifted his weight, glancing back at his friends, uncertain. Jack took a step closer, clinging to the hope that this was the beginning. I've been thinking a lot about us. I know I've been absent, but I want to change that. I want to be part of your life. For an agonizing moment, Sam said nothing. The silence hovered thick between them, charged with unsaid words and unexpressed feelings. Jack's heart raced as he waited, praying his son would respond. Finally, Sam broke the silence. You want to be involved? Like really involved? Yeah, like I should have been before, Jack admitted, vulnerability washing over him. I want to watch you play sports, help with homework. I just want to be there for you. I don't know if that's what I want. Sam's voice trailed off, uncertainty gripping them both. Jack's chest tightened, but he pressed on. Sam, I get it. I can't expect it all to be okay right away. But I hope you can give me a chance. We can figure it out together. As he looked into Sam's eyes, he saw the conflict reflecting back. Jack wished for nothing more than for Sam to trust him, to see through the years and the hurt. But trust wasn't handed out easily, it was earned. Okay, Sam finally muttered, not quite looking Jack in the eye. But it's going to take time. A flicker of relief washed over Jack as he nodded slowly. I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. Just then, the school bell rang, shattering the moment, generating movement all around them. Look, I have to go, Sam said, backing away. But maybe we can talk later? Jack felt a spark of hope as Sam met his gaze for a brief moment before retreating back to his friends. That spark, though small, ignited a warmth within him. As Jack walked away, heart lightened. He realized this was just the first step. Together, they were on the path of rebuilding a work in progress. But as he turned to walk back to his car, a question lingered in the air. Would he have the strength to remain patient when faced with the ghosts of the past? Would he truly be able to endure the waiting game of healing? Jack got into his car, the weight of uncertainty still resting heavily on his heart. Driving through familiar streets, he felt both comforted and lost. The simple scenery, the shops, and the old park where Sam had played as a child reminded him of how far they had drifted apart. This moment was a pebble in the pond, its ripples barely beginning to extend. He knew he had to choose his next steps carefully. Later that afternoon, Jack found himself at work, but his mind was miles away, tangled in that moment on the schoolyard. He stared blankly at his computer screen, the numbers and graphs blurring together. Images of Sam's hopeful yet wary gaze wouldn't he leave him. The office buzzed around him, colleagues chatting, phones ringing, but Jack hardly noticed. Something about yesterday felt off. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was much more to say. As the hours dragged on, he browsed through photos on his phone, frozen flashes of better days spent with Sam, laughing, running, living. There were pictures of them at baseball games, barbecues, and birthdays. They appeared so carefree, so connected. Jack. Earth to Jack. Amy's voice broke him from his trance. She leaned against his doorway, arms crossed, a knowing smile on her face. "Oh hey Amy," he said, forcing a smile but not quite able to mask his unease. "Something on your mind?" she asked, stepping into his office uninvited. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Just a lot going on, I guess." He hesitated, wanting to share but unsure how to articulate it. "I talked to Sam today." Amy's eyes lit up. "Really? That's great. What did you two discuss?" Jack rubbed the back of his neck, unsure where to start. "I told him I want to be part of his life, but I didn't expect him to be so hesitant. He has a lot of questions, and rightfully so. Trust doesn't come easy, especially after everything. But you took the first step," she encouraged, her tone more serious now. "That means something." "I know," he replied, though the doubt lingered. "But I feel like I need to do more. I can't just leave it at one conversation." "Then don't," Amy said, a spark of inspiration in her eyes. "Make an effort. Maybe go to his games, be there for school events. Show him you care in action, not just words." Jack nodded, a sense of determination rising within him. He had to prove to Sam that he was serious. "You're right. I'll start with the soccer game this Saturday. I'll be there cheering him on." The thought warmed him, and he felt hope a little brighter now. As Jack wrapped up his workday, he brainstormed ways to connect with Sam outside of the schoolyard. What could they do together? Maybe they could catch a movie, play video games, or even have a father-son baseball game. The thought made him smile, but then he paused. Would these small gestures truly matter? Would they be enough to heal the years of absence? He felt a spark of anxiety bubble up inside, battling with hope, as he recalled Sam's expression so etched in his mind. Jack took a deep breath and reminded himself that he had taken the first step. They were on a long and winding road, but the light at the end was visible. It was enough. However, standing there, he couldn't ignore a nagging question. Would Sam let him back into his life, or was Jack still just an outsider in his son's world? He drove home, the evening sky deepening into twilight, his heart full but still questioning where the journey would take them next. Each moment felt like a challenge waiting to unfold, and he wondered if this was merely a facade of hope or if real change was blossoming ahead. Jack woke up earlier than usual the next morning, the anticipation electrifying the air around him. Today was Saturday, and the soccer game loomed ahead like a beacon of hope. He struggled to shake off the nerves curling in his stomach. This wasn't just another Saturday. This could be the pivotal moment in his relationship with Sam. The sun peeked through the drawn curtains, casting a warm glow over the room. Jack took a moment to breathe deeply, focusing on the positives. If he could show Sam he cared, maybe they could stand a chance at rebuilding their bond. He dressed quickly, slipping into his favorite blue jersey, the one he always wore when he went to watch Sam play. It felt like a small but important gesture, an invisible uniform that signaled he was ready for battle. The drive to the park took longer than expected, the streets abuzz with weekend traffic. Jack's heart raced as he parked his car, his hands gripping the steering wheel. Would Sam even want him there? What if he saw Jack and chose to turn away? He stepped out, feeling the cool morning air wrap around him, drawing his attention to the joyful noise emanating from the soccer field. Laughter. Cheers. The unmistakable sound of a game in full swing. Jack spotted the familiar face of Sam's coach and offered a tentative wave. The coach responded warmly, and Jack felt a flicker of reassurance. Perhaps the world hadn't changed so much after all. He scanned the crowd, searching for Sam's figure amid the players darting across the field, clad in his team's bright red jersey. Then he saw him, Sam, concentrated and fierce, darting down the field with the ball at his feet. In that moment, all Jack could see was the boy he once knew, the one who used to look at him with unguarded joy. He felt a rising swell of something. Was it pride? Hope? Jack. A voice called, breaking his reverie. It was Amy, who had also come to cheer on the youth soccer league. She sidled up to him, her expression warm and encouraging. You made it. I was wondering if you'd show. I almost didn't, he admitted, shaking his head. But I figured this was important. Good call. Let us get a good spot, she said, leading him to a bench near the field. As the game unfolded, Jack felt the tension easing from his shoulders. Friends and parents cheered every kick and tackle, the spirit of community enveloping him. Yet, every time he glanced at Sam, the anxiety crept back. Would this applause matter to him? Minutes turned into hours, and soon the game was coming to an end. The tension in the air thickened again as the referee raised his arms for the final whistle. Sam's team had won, and the field erupted into joyous screams and laughter. Jack's heart raced as he watched Sam's face light up, an unconfined smile stretching across his cheeks. Jack couldn't help himself. He stood up, clapping and cheering, a rush of exhilaration washing over him. Suddenly he spotted Sam looking around, scanning the faces in the crowd. His heart skipped a beat when their eyes locked. For a brief moment, time seemed to stand still. Then Sam came running toward him, a whirlwind of energy and triumph. Jack knelt down, arms open wide, and as Sam reached him, he collided into his father's embrace. It felt electrifying and surreal. Dad, you came, Sam said, breathless, a look of surprise etched on his face. I wouldn't miss it for the world, kiddo, Jack said, his voice thick with emotion. As they broke apart, a sudden weight settled on Jack's heart. The years apart hung around them like raw wounds, and he could sense the questions beneath Sam's excitement. Before he could say anything more, Sam smiled, but Jack saw a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. Can you come to practice next week? Sam asked, the question hanging in the air, heavy yet hopeful. Jack nodded, a smile breaking across his face. Absolutely. I'll be there. As the atmosphere brightened around them, the unsteady bond felt strangely fortified. But beneath the excitement lingered an awareness that this was just the beginning. As they walked back toward the rest of the families, celebrating with popsicles and laughter, an unexpected figure caught Jack's eye. Sam's mother, standing at a distance, her expression unreadable. What would she say? Would she let him in again? Would the past haunt their future? The questions loomed like shadows, eager to invade this fragile moment. But Jack pushed them down, reminding himself that he was fighting for something worth every ounce of effort. With Sam beside him, he was ready to face whatever came next. Would love conquer all, or was there still more to uncover about their fractured family? The next few days fell into a rhythm for Jack. Work seemed less daunting, and each passing hour was colored by visions of Sam, his laughter, that brilliant smile, the way he ran down the soccer field as if the world were his. Every interaction felt charged with a new meaning. Jack found himself replaying the embrace over and over, savoring that moment when it felt like they were finally on the same team again. When Saturday rolled around, Jack could hardly contain his excitement. Practice was just an hour away, and he kept glancing at the clock, counting down the minutes. He retreated to the mirror to check his reflection, adjusting his blue jersey, now a symbol of his commitment. He felt nervous energy bubbling beneath his skin, but this time it was different. It was anticipation, not dread. As he pulled into the park's lot, the familiar vibrant sounds of youth soccer filled the air like a comforting blanket. The bright colors of the players' jerseys intermingled with the shouts and cheers. Jack took a deep breath, willing the doubts to stay away. There, just off the main field, he spotted Sam laughing with his teammates. The sight warmed him from the inside out. Dad. Sam's voice rang out, clear as a bell, pulling Jack's focus. The boy broke from his group, sprinting toward Jack with unrestrained joy. Watching him race toward him, Jack felt his heart swell. "I made it," Jack replied, kneeling to meet Sam halfway. But this time, there was no moment of hesitation. Sam jumped into his arms and Jack held on tightly. It felt right, like coming home after a long absence. "I'm glad you're here. We're practicing drills today. I'll show you what we do," Sam said, his face bright with excitement. "Lead the way," Jack laughed, feeling lighter than he had in years. As they made their way to the field, Jack nervously scanned the surrounding parents. He spotted a few familiar faces, including Amy, who waved enthusiastically at him. A small knot tightened in his stomach when he noticed Sam's mother, Lisa. She stood apart from the other parents, her expression contemplative. "Hey, are you going to watch the whole practice?" Amy called, joining them. "Yeah, I wouldn't miss it. Just trying to soak it all in," Jack chuckled, but his smile wavered as he stole another glance at Lisa. "Good. It's great to see you here," Amy encouraged, her voice genuine. Jack nodded appreciatively, grateful for the support, but still aware that Lisa's presence weighed heavily on him. After all these years, he wasn't sure what she was thinking or how she felt about his sudden reappearance in Sam's life. That uncertainty smothered his joy for a moment, but Sam's bright laughter cut through like a ray of sunlight. As the practice began, Jack watched in awe as Sam demonstrated his skills, dribbling the ball with ease and showing off his speed. It was a joy to witness. Each kick, every shout of encouragement to his teammates, only deepened Jack's resolve to rebuild their relationship. After practice wrapped up, he felt confident enough to approach Lisa. With each step, the knot in his stomach tightened. What did he even plan to say? "Hey Jack," Lisa greeted, her tone a mix of surprise and caution. "You came to practice?" "I did. I want to be there for Sam," he replied, finding strength in his conviction. "I hope you're okay with that." She looked at him, her brow furrowed. "Honestly, it's complicated. Tell me about it," he chuckled, trying to defuse the tension. "But I really want to try. I miss being a part of his life. I'm trying to show him that he matters to me." Lisa's gaze softened. "He talks about you a lot, you know. There's hope there, Jack. But the past isn't easy. I'm ready to face it," he promised, heart racing. For him. As they exchanged cautious words filled with unspoken history, Jack felt the first flicker of possibility growing between them. Yet beneath the surface, he sensed that their conversation was only beginning. Would her openness lead to actual forgiveness? As practice faded into laughter and post-game snacks, Jack's heart was full. But lingering questions, the ones they hadn't yet addressed, stayed rooted in his mind. What would it take to heal those wounds? And could they really create a new family from the remnants of their past? Just as he finished those thoughts, Sam rushed over, eyes shining like stars, an idea bubbling in his mind. "Dad, can we talk about doing this every week? Like forever?" Jack's heart swelled with emotion. "Absolutely, Sam. Forever." But as he watched Lisa standing on the sidelines, Jack couldn't help but wonder. Was forever a possibility, or merely a dream hanging in the balance? The next week brought with it an air of anticipation, a flicker of something bright and hopeful as Jack prepared for another Saturday of soccer practice. The bond he was forging with Sam felt fragile, yet resilient, like a young sapling breaking through the surface, reaching for the sun. Jack had never felt more alive, every moment spent with Sam filling empty spaces he never truly knew existed. Saturday arrived, clear and sunny, the perfect backdrop for what lay ahead. Jack wore his blue jersey again, a symbol of not just support, but commitment. He threw open the door, greeted by the golden light that poured into his home, igniting hope. As he made his way to the park, his mind swirled with plans. What if they practiced together? Would Sam be open to spending time outside of soccer? As he approached the park, the familiar sounds of laughter and chatter enveloped him, filling him with warmth. The field was bustling, kids running, parents chatting, and there was Sam in the midst of it all, a beacon of energy. The sight alone filled Jack's chest with pride. "Dad," Sam called out, spotting him immediately. Jack smiled wide, the sounds of Sam's jubilant laughter nudging away any lingering anxiety. As they met, there was no hesitation. Sam jumped into his arms again, and Jack felt that familiar surge of joy. Ready to practice? Jack asked, ruffling Sam's hair affectionately. More than ready. I want to show you my new move. Sam beamed, dragging Jack to the field, his excitement contagious. Jack could hardly keep up with his son's energy, but he felt invigorated, alive with every step. As practice continued, Jack cheered from the sidelines, marveling at how Sam connected with his teammates, how he rallied them, his shouts encouragingly dancing over the winds. Every kick of the ball resonated in Jack's heart like a testament to the connection they were rebuilding. This was all new to him, but it felt right. Once practice ended, Jack watched as Sam laughed with his friends, elation radiating from him. In that moment he made the decision he could reach out, extend the offer for something more. As the kids started to disperse, he beckoned Sam over. Hey, what do you think about practicing together? Just you and me? We could go to the local field, just us. Sam looked thoughtful. Like a father-son practice? That could be cool. The realization washed over Jack. This was an opportunity to bond over something they both loved, to share not just soccer but those pieces of life they had missed together. Exactly. We can work on your dribbling, maybe even teach me your move. As Sam's eyes sparkled with excitement, a shadow passed over Jack as Lisa approached again, hesitance shifting in the air. Hey Jack, she said softly. Hey Lisa, Jack replied, checking his own uncertainty at the door. We were just talking about spending some time together practicing. Really? She asked, raising her eyebrows in surprise. Yeah. I want to be there for him, really be involved, Jack said, determination thick in his voice. Lisa studied him for a moment, her expression shifting as she considered his sincerity. Sam loves the game. I think it's great you want to support him. Thanks, Lisa. I really mean it, Jack replied, and felt a sense of camaraderie growing between them. The unreturned years still hung in the air, but perhaps there was room for commitment, for closure. As practice plans solidified, Jack felt a rush of warmth, realizing he wasn't just committing to soccer. He was investing in being the father Sam deserved. Anxiety morphed into overwhelming gratitude in his chest as he watched Sam chatter excitedly with his friends. A burst of hope that echoed back to their first interaction, the tentative moment where everything began. The next few weeks blended into laughter and practice, kicking soccer balls around the local field, and sharing after-practice ice cream under the sun. With each passing moment, the bond deepened. Sam opened up, sharing stories about school, friends, dreams, a glimpse into the boy he had grown into. Jack found himself falling back into the rhythm of family. Each day felt like a step taken in the right direction. But with growth came questions that Jack had to confront. Each night, after Sam's laughter faded into sleepy goodnights, Jack lay awake in bed, caught between pride and guilt. Memories of missed birthdays, absent conversations haunted him, the reality of lost time pressing heavily. On one particular evening, as they flipped through yearbooks and created a scrapbook of memories, Jack turned to Sam with a vulnerable heart. You know, I'm really sorry for everything I missed. I hope I can still be that dad you need. Sam paused, his expression contemplative. You're here now. That counts, right? It does, but I want to be more than just here. I want you to know I'm committed, Jack pressed, heart on his sleeve. And just like that, eye contact spoke volumes, mixing sincerity, love, and hope. Maybe it's about the future, not just the past, Sam replied simply, nodding with wisdom beyond his years. For Jack, that small bridge of understanding felt monumental. This was their journey now, intertwined not just by blood, but by choice and love. Moving forward became a dance of vulnerability, of facing every uncertainty together. As they wrapped up the scrapbook, Jack took a moment to consider the very real future ahead, but the what-ifs, the fears surrounding his relationship with Lisa remained. Would she accept Jack's attempt to dive deeper into Sam's life? As Jack lay awake that night, staring up at the stars twinkling through his window, he made a decision. He would reach out to Lisa once more, this time hoping to extend not just an olive branch, but a full invitation for conversation, a talk about what it meant to co-parent, to be a part of Sam's life mutually. Because now more than ever, Jack understood that building a family isn't a singular journey. It's woven from connection, conversation, and above all, love. And with that resolution, Jack surrendered to the comforting thought that before him lay endless possibilities, the chance to rise and create a richer family tapestry together. What would it take for that to become their reality? Only time could tell, but Jack was ready to embrace it with both hands. So as he drifted into sleep, he clung to that hope, allowing the warmth of potential to weave its way through his heart, igniting excitement for what came next. The dawn of a new chapter awaited, one filled with promise. And together, as a family, they were prepared to step forward. With the day's light breaking the horizon, Jack whispered to the wind, "Let it be the start of something beautiful." As he opened his eyes to a new day, he knew that each sunrise would bring with it many chances to redeem the past and illuminate the road ahead. And that was just the beginning. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and keep these heartwarming tales alive. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. The journey continues with your help.